Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Harsha. Yeah, Harsha, I've shared my screen. Visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So first, I think I must thank you all for choosing my classroom for your 10th standard mathematics. I'm sure it'll be a great journey together. So, like, I don't want to beat the bush. Let's come to the point straight away. We'll then have an intro. There are a few new students. So I'll just check out your names. And I do know your, the schools you go to. Still, we'll have a formal introduction later. All right? Yeah. So as you can see, we have 14 chapters in your CBSE mathematics textbook for 10th standard. And as you have seen in 9th standard, the units are like number systems, algebra, coordinate geometry, trigonometry, mensuration, statistics, and probability. So not much of a difference between 9th and 10th. We have seen the same units in class 9 also. So number systems, we have only this chapter, real numbers, and the total weightage of marks is 6 marks. So your question paper, your board exam paper is for 80 marks. 20 is reserved by the school. So you get 20 marks from the school for all the internal assessments. That's again 5 into 4. 5 different heads, 5 into 4. So 20 marks. You need to, keep your teacher happy, submit your work on time, maintain your classworks neatly, and any project-based learning, do that on time. So also 20 marks is reserved by the school. And mostly we get 20. Again, mostly 18 to 20 is normally awarded. The rest 80 is based on your preparation for the board exam. So 6 marks out of 80 marks is from real numbers. Algebra, under algebra, we have these chapters, polynomials. We have seen this in standard 9 also. Polynomials, right? So it's just an extension of that. So a good understanding of polynomials of grade 9 is the foundation for understanding polynomials of grade 10. So that's what I'll talk about, the foundational gap, if any, later. Okay. If you think, you will have a foundational gap, we'll see that later. So it is definitely it's definitely a continuation of polynomials of standard 9. All right. It's not a completely new chapter that, am I audible to you, Harsha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the good news is that most of the concepts in this chapter has been deleted. Okay, so we had cubic polynomials. We also used to get questions from biquadratic polynomials. All that is removed from the syllabus. Now it's only about quadratic polynomials, but schools do, include questions from cubic polynomials in your test and exam papers. So we need to stretch a little beyond the syllabus sometimes, keeping in mind. So I know the nature of the question papers in your schools here in Trichy. So I know enough is really not enough for school. Enough is enough for board exam, but enough is not enough for school. So school, you prepare like this, you see a question paper like that. So you have to be prepared, like you'll have to have a rounded preparation. So any direction they ask you questions, you should be ready for it. And you'll be learning all that from this classroom. So that's about polynomials. Now it's really diluted. You have very less. But again, so when it's very less, the challenge is you'll have to learn it in more detail. When we had in detail, when we had many more concepts of this chapter, a superficial knowledge was enough, not much was really asked. But now that you have only quadratic polynomials, you'll have to know in and out of this. So you need to have a detailed understanding. Polynomials is a very small chapter, but sometimes this can be called the hardest in one of the hardest chapters in your syllabus, the kind of questions asked. So that's what it is. Then we have a pair of linear equations and two variables. Ninth standard we had. Yeah. So the chapter ninth standard was linear equations. We had one linear equation. No, we have also studied one linear equation and two variables x and y. We saw, yeah, right? One linear equation in two variables x and y. Now this is a pair of linear equations. So you'll have a pair of linear equations. One linear equation in x and y, another linear equation in x and y. So a pair of linear equations in two variables, mostly x and y. All right. So that's what it is. Again, this comprises of solving equations to find the values of x and y. Then we have word situations, word problems also. Again, not difficult, like it's comparatively easy, not at all difficult. Quadratic equations. I'm not trying to intimidate. We have to accept facts as facts, right? Yeah. A lion is a ferocious animal. A lion is a lion, a dog is a dog, a cat is a cat. Now, I cannot present a lion like a cat to you, right? So it's not the orientation, the intention of the program is not to intimidate the children and give you a fear that, oh, polynomial is difficult. She said, this is easy. No, fact, we have to take a fact as a fact. I cannot make any modifications to make you feel nice about it. Okay. But everything can be overcome. Everything can be dealt with the right amount of effort, the right understanding followed by the right amount of efforts from your end. With that, you can really be successful. You will have a grounded you will have a solid foundation to take on mathematics ahead in 11th and 12th and beyond that. 8, 9, and 10 of your high school mathematics lays a strong foundation for your 11th and 12th. If you're very passionate about mathematics, you want to continue with mathematics ahead, then this year is very important. Is very important. 8th and 9th have gone by. So I'm not talking about that. So 8, 9, and 10. So now 10th standard is very, very important. And here in this classroom, we will not study from mark point of view. Don't study that. You will not get that. Study this, focus on this. Because again, knowledge is very, very important. You never know what will not be asked. You can never predict that, right? So maybe you don't go prepared with a particular topic and you're lucky questions are not asked from that topic. Okay. But what if something comes from the topic? Then you're going to lose marks. So we'll believe that we're going to learn for knowledge and not for marks. Marks will follow when you take efforts and put in your efforts for the sake of knowledge. And when you understand that all this is going to be important for my mathematics beyond 10th standard, then marks will not be your criteria. Your effort and knowledge, you work for that. And you also know 80 marks paper, everything you learn cannot be asked. Okay, so you have so many chapters. It's for 80 marks. Each and every question you study cannot happen in the exam, right? So you would have studied some 150 questions from, say, quadratic equations. You will be checked with 2 questions in the board exam. Some 2 questions will happen here and there in the board exam. For that, you have to prepare with all the 150 questions. So that doesn't mean that, so the rest is waste. I shouldn't have studied. I worked so hard with that concept, this concept, nothing came for the exam, just these 2. It's not that the rest is knowledge. That is going to help you with your mathematics ahead. Maybe there was a concept, which was very difficult and you had to spend a lot of time to, register that in your memory. And that didn't come up, you didn't get a question of that sort in the exam. You should not feel disappointed. That knowledge will help you somewhere down in your math journey ahead. So algebra, I start with a pair of linear equations and 2 variables. So we have had one linear equation and 2 variables x and y in 9th standard. So now this is a pair of linear equations and 2 variables x and y. Quadratic equations. Again, in the chapter polynomials, we have seen what a quadratic polynomial is. Standard 9, second chapter polynomials. We know what a quadratic polynomial is. Now, this is a quadratic equation. This chapter is quadratic equations. Here also you have, solving an equation to find the value of x. and also word problems from this chapter. So you have linear equations also, you have solving equations for x and y, word problems, quadratic equations, solving for x and word problems. Not just this, I'm just talking about the highlights of this chapter. Arithmetic progressions. So progressions are of three different kinds. You have arithmetic progressions, you have geometric progressions, you have harmonic progressions. Okay, so these are sequences. Okay, progressions are sequences. A set of numbers arranged in a particular order following a definite rule. Okay, so progression is nothing but a sequence. A sequence is a set of numbers. These numbers are arranged in some specific order according to some rule. So we have three different progressions, as I told you: arithmetic progressions, harmonic progression, and geometric progression. Of this, you will be learning only arithmetic progressions in CBSE. Okay. Again, a very vast chapter, very vast, and the applications from this chapter can be tricky. See, it's all about when it's a case-based question from this chapter. If you're given this question as a homework, you can take half an hour and you can think, do it incorrectly, rethink again incorrect, and then finally you can get it right. So half an hour you'll take and you do it correctly, which means you know how to do it. In the exam, do you have half an hour for this study of this question? No. You have to crack it in less than 10 minutes. You'll have to read the case, you'll have to read the passage, the case study, see the questions below it, process. Everything happens simultaneously. Read and then process, like how to do it. Everything should happen in less than 10 minutes. And for that, you should practice so much. When you read this question, all the concepts from arithmetic progression should come gushing into your mind. As you read, you must be able to process, okay, this is how it's going to be, and work it. So that's the difference. It's not that if at all you're not able to do a question, say a case study from this chapter, it's not that you didn't know. You were not able to read, understand, and come out with the correct solution in that stipulated period. And there is always that stress, right, during the exam. You cannot say no. All of us have that. Nobody can be very cool. There is that, because when there is one question which you don't know, you want full marks, and there's one thing which you don't know, we should learn all that we learn in this classroom. So you should know how to avoid that, remove that, and focus on what you know. So mostly we stick to those. We put those questions which we are not very sure about in our mind, and disturb our thinking process for the rest of the questions which we can do. So all that, you should overcome all that. So that's why we have an extensive revision period here, wherein you should overcome all that. So at the end of the journey here, in 10th standard, you should have learned how to face exams with a cool mind. You should learn that. That's very important. Even if you're not prepared well for the exam, you must go and face it as if you know everything. So there are some things which you don't know on the paper. Still leave that, keep that aside, and focus on the ones you know. Because if you disturb, you're under stress. Even things which you will not be able to process correctly, and may not be able to solve them correctly. So that is how to handle the question paper. Okay, whatever, however it is, whether you know it, whether it's easy, medium, difficult, however it is, you should know how to handle the question paper. So that state of mind is what you'll have to program. You must go to the exam as if you're going to do a favor for somebody. This is not for me. That's not carelessness. I'm not saying be careless, but you must get used to that. Your state of mind must be like as if you're doing a favor for somebody. So when you do a favor for somebody, how do you do it? You do it wholeheartedly, right? You want to help that person, you do it wholeheartedly. So you should prepare your mind like that. The tension is the first thing you should remove to be successful. So case studies from this chapter sometimes, you may not be able to do it in the exam, but then you come out of the examination on hall and you're like, oh shit, that didn't just occur to me. Now you feel like going back to the hall, getting the paper from the teacher and redoing it. Oh my God, I got it now. Like when you discuss with your friend says, I did it like this. Oh my God, even I know that I saw that last night and it just didn't occur to me. That does happen. So arithmetic progressions can be like that. Again, it depends on the questions, it depends on the type of paper your school sets. Coordinate geometry, again, an extensive chapter. So much is deleted, still there's so much. So much is deleted, still there's so much. So 10th standard is all about volume. Everything is easy to understand. Everything is easy to understand. But it's difficult to remember because you can remember only with practice. When you finish a session here, I'm sure each one of you will go out of the class saying, yeah, we understood. I have to assure you that. I will do that. When you go out of the class, you will say, yeah, today's class, I understood everything. I'm not trying to be very overconfident or, I'm not saying that with pride. I'm happy to say that. So you finish a session, you're like, no, yeah, I understood everything. It's clear. Now my work ends there. My work ends there. Maybe in the class I can repeat. If you want me to repeat the explanation, I can repeat it. But that's my work is done there. So now your work is to practice till you remember. And that you cannot do before the exam. You should study every day as if tomorrow you have an exam. When you practice like that, actually, when you actually don't have an exam tomorrow, but you're working like as if you have an exam tomorrow, you can give your best. But with the exam tomorrow, you cannot, give your best. Because you're stressed. Suddenly, you go out for a cup of coffee. You come back. You want to focus. You're not able to focus. Then you go to your parents. You say, "I'm getting scared. I didn't study that. I didn't study this." So before the exam, you're really not able to do much. But if you don't have an exam tomorrow, but you just study like as if there's an exam tomorrow, you can do your best, and that's what you should be doing every day. See, okay, I'll tell you. We'll talk about the study plan later. Let me just finish with all the chapters. How to go about preparing, how to go about practicing. Let's come to that later. So then triangles. I said coordinate geometry. This chapter, yes, is introduced to you in class 9, coordinate geometry. The Cartesian plane, the Cartesian system, x-axis, y-axis, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So I'll just ask you a question. If the question may not be right, you can correct if the question is incorrect. If the question is right, try to answer it. Where does the point 0, minus 4 lie? Where does the point 0, minus 4 lie? In which quadrant? Or where does the point 0, minus 4 lie? Correct. 0, minus 4 does not lie in any quadrant. It's not in the first quadrant. Okay, 0, minus 4. First quadrant is plus plus. Second quadrant, minus plus. Third quadrant, minus minus. Fourth quadrant, no place. This is, okay, so 0 and minus 4. 0, minus 4. Where will you plot 0, minus 4? On the y-axis, on the negative side of the y-axis. You'll plot that point on the y-axis, on the negative side of the y-axis, 0, minus 4, yeah. So this point 0, minus 4 lies on the y-axis. It doesn't lie in any of the quadrants. Okay, another question. When you have 3 points in a plane, so you plot 3 points. Okay, in the Cartesian plane, you plot 3 points. When you connect the points, what are the different possibilities? Like, what is it you can see when you connect these 3 points? You have 3 points, you plot 3 points. Okay, so when you plot these 3 points, what are the different possibilities? What will you observe? A line or triangle. Correct. Okay, when you connect these 3 points, the 3 points can lie on the same straight line. If they don't lie on the same straight line, they'll form a triangle. These are the only 2 possibilities. So Okay, so you plot a point here, and a point here. So in this case, when you connect the 3 points, when you try to connect the 3 points, you are able to join them by the same straight line. So here the points A, B, C are collinear. So you plot 3 other points, X, Y, Z. So, okay. They're not collinear, so they form a triangle. If they're not collinear, they form a triangle. So when we have 3 points in a plane, either the points are collinear. If they're not collinear, they form a triangle. These are the only 2 possibilities. So more things like this is what we see in coordinate geometry. Then triangles. Class 9, we had this chapter congruent triangles, which was congruent triangles. Now here you will be learning similar triangles. Similar triangles. So in simple words, congruent, 2 triangles are said to be congruent when they're identical. When one looks exactly like the other. 2 identical triangles. Identical means same in every aspect. Sides, angles. Okay. So they are congruent triangles. Identical triangles are congruent triangles. Here, this is similar triangles in class 10. So when you have a triangle and you look at the triangle through a lens, okay, a magnifying glass. So then it looks bigger, right? It's bigger. So it looks proportionately bigger, meaning, yeah. So when you look at this triangle, say phi, this is the greatest side. So this will have the shortest angle. This is like, say, okay. All right. Okay. This greatest angle should come here. $57.75. Okay. Now, when this triangle is magnified, the angles will remain the same. The angles cannot, increase in magnitude. If 50 becomes 150 and 60 becomes 180, if all the angles become 3 times, then what about the angles and property of a triangle? Where will that go? What will be the sum? So when this triangle, when you like increase the size of this triangle proportionally, the angles will remain the same. The angles will remain the same. The sides, 5 becomes 15, 6 becomes 18, 7 becomes 21. The 3 sides may be tripled or 4 times or 2.5 times, or the sides can even be halved, meaning become half. 5 becomes 2.5, 6 becomes 3, 7 becomes 3.5. So here we're going to learn about 2 triangles which are similar to each other, meaning their angles are equal and their sides are proportional. 2 triangles are said to be similar when their corresponding angles are equal. Angles must be equal. And their corresponding sides are proportional. What about congruent triangles? 2 triangles are said to be congruent if, yeah, they're identical, meaning their corresponding angles are equal and their corresponding sides are also equal. Angles equal, sides equal. Congruent triangles. Angles equal, sides proportional. What is proportional? 5, 15, 6, 18, 3 times, 7, 21. Or it's halved. 5 becomes half, 2.5. 6 becomes 3. 7 becomes 3.5. So when 2 triangles, when the corresponding angles of 2 triangles are equal, but their sides are proportional, then the 2 triangles are said to be similar to one another. So it's like your photograph, your stamp size photo, your passport or postcard size photo. So it's proportionately enlarged, right? So your photographs of different sizes are similar photographs. Your picture, not yours and mine. Okay, they are two different pictures altogether. So your picture, different sizes. So they'll increase or decrease proportionally. Okay, the corners will still be 90 degrees. In every photograph, the corner will be 90 degrees. In every photograph, the corner is 90 degrees, just to understand what it is. Okay, but the size is proportionately increase or decrease. Stamp size is so small, right? Okay, so that's about similar triangles. Circles. All that you learned in circles in class 9 will be used here in class 10. All that you've learned in class 10 will be here in class 10. Plus a few theorems and many standard results, numericals. So it's just it's a continuation actually. That's part 1, this part 2. Everything of circles in 9th standard, you should, be able to recall when we do circles in class 10. Trigonometry is completely a new chapter. Introduction to trigonometry. So this is a completely new chapter. So we'll see it from the scratch. And to understand why trigonometry, why should we learn trigonometry? That's why we have applications of trigonometry to answer that question. Okay, so why should you learn trigonometry? So here is the next chapter, some applications of trigonometry, where you'll understand how trigonometry is used and applied in real life. Okay. Areas related to circles. Simple chapter. Actually, these two areas related to circles and surface areas and volumes, the thing is, the convenience is you just working with the formulae. You have to memorize the formulae, and it's relatively easy because it's all based on the formula. You just look at the figure and then you understand, okay, there's a semicircle, there is this, that, okay, this formula, this formula, this formula, add, get the answer. Easy. So areas related to circles with surface areas and volumes are relatively easier to understand, comfortable for students. Statistics. Again, see, when I say easy, difficult, it's about the amount of time you'll have to spend for the chapter. Easy, everything is equal, and to understand everything is equal only. Understanding everything is equal. Now, then what is easy, what is difficult? Easy is a question from statistics. Maybe if you work it once, it's enough. You can remember, then next time you can just revise like this. You don't have to actually work to remember from statistics. So you know the formula to find mean, median, mode. Cool. Okay, I know the table. It's number work. Statistics is just number work. So you just, okay, I have to create these columns. Then this is the formula. Just plug in the values in the formula. Fine, a calculation that I'll take care. I'm an expert. So you don't have to work, sums from statistics for practice. Like you just, if you have to revise this chapter statistics, you will have to just recall the formula, make sure that you know all the formulae, and then make sure that, the columns that have to be prepared. What are the columns to be prepared? So if you'll have to find mean by the step deviation method, what are the columns that have to prepare? So you just have to make sure that you know certain things. Then the rest is numerical. You don't have to like work to remember. That's what I mean by saying easy. The effort you have to take to understand, understand and remember the concepts and statistics is easy. The effort is less. Understand? Yeah. Same with probability. It's not a probability you have to solve again. I forgot. I have to do it again. Nothing. So you'll be seeing about questions based on coins, tossing a coin, tossing 2 coins, tossing 3 coins, playing cards. In the chapter probability, questions will be based on tossing 1 coin, 1 coin 2 times, 1 coin 3 times, or tossing 2 coins, 3 coins, then playing cards. Okay, playing cards, dice, or 2 dice. So like that, so you have questions based on these. Again, not that you just have to familiarize yourself with different questions that can be asked. You just have to be familiar, like, okay, these are the kind of questions, these are the nature of the questions that will come from this chapter. You need to be familiar. That's it. I don't think you need to really practice to remember all this. It's easy. Just once you go through, that's it. You can remember. And there's just one formula here. So that also you cannot forget. So that way it is easy. The amount of time you have to spend to revise this chapter is far less than the time you'll have to spend with the other chapters. That way, probability is easy, less effort, you can remember. Statistics, less effort, you can remember. Surface areas and volumes, areas related to circles is formula based. Trigonometry, I'm coming from behind now. So trigonometry and applications of trigonometry, completely new. Completely new. What did I say about statistics and probability? How many formula and probability? Yeah, don't get up. Sit down, don't get up. Okay, so only one. Okay, probability is a number of favorable outcomes by the total number of outcomes. That's it, just one formula. So like that, statistics also, we have formula for mean, median, and mode. So this is completely formula based, less effort. You can remember. This one is also formula based. You have a lot of formula to remember. And you have to see a lot of situations. But because you have the formula, formula is always helpful, right? When you know that there's a formula to be used, it's so easy, right? Just put the values, calculate, less tension. This one is new, so you have to take a lot of effort to remember this. This one also, triangles and circles, you need immense effort. So many, you go prepared with 100 sums, there is some 101st sum, which is completely new. And you're like, I learned so much I was not able to use in the exam, but it'll be so simple. So that that thinking skill will develop when you like practice, when you expose yourself to variety of situations that'll come to you easily. Cracking that one question, which is a surprise question for you, will be easy if you practiced variety of questions at home. That becomes easy. So this can be challenging. Triangles and circles can be challenging. This one also very vast, vast. After the areas related to circles and volumes and surface areas, I can say this one is easy. Like if you have to rate the chapters, from easy to difficult, then maybe this is my rating. Less effort to most effort. Probability, statistics, and then, 3, 4. Then I can say, no, I can give a 3 for this, real numbers. 4, 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Where's 14? Okay, I missed on polynomials. Okay, so maybe polynomials I can say after real numbers. After real numbers, polynomials. So let me not spend time on again using the numbers again. This can be after real numbers. So like this. So you need to really focus on trigonometry, applications of trigonometry, triangle and circles. These can be the chapters that take most of your energy. Most of your energy. Yeah. Just you're preparing yourself for that. So okay, this is how it's going to be. Okay, so you're going to get ready for this. Yeah. So that's about mistake is something which I can't accept. So let me change the numbers. 4. 4 is 5. 5 is 6. Yeah. So, and this is the weightage given to the different chapters. Now, I'll not give a lot of weightage to the weightage. Why? Because say this is only for the board exam. Now your school exam. Say you have an exam in the month of July. You will not have full portions, right? Because your teacher would have covered only maybe of 14 chapters, maybe some 8 chapters. We just assume that. Now, when the teacher has to set an 80 marks paper using 8 chapters, she cannot use this weightage, right? This is the weightage if all the portions are covered. All the chapters are completed, then this is the weightage. But now, if for an exam in July, the portions is from 8 chapters, then how can she follow this marking scheme? Not possible, right? Meaning this weightage of mark, this distribution of marks for the chapters, this cannot be followed. So I shouldn't say, but then I don't give much weightage to the weightage of marks. This is only for the board exam. But before you write the board exam, you'll be writing so many exams in school. So you have to give equal importance to all the chapters. Equal importance to all the chapters. It's just that some chapters need less effort, some chapters need more effort. You cannot ignore any chapter or prefer to practice some chapter always. It's just that every chapter is important. Every other chapter is important. You need less time to prepare. You need less effort for some chapters, more effort, medium efforts for some chapters, most or a lot of efforts for the rest of the chapters. The difference will be in the amount of time you spend. But is it important? Yes, it is very important. All the chapters are important. So this you would have always seen, no? This is same as 9th standard. So section A, you have MCQs. You're familiar with this. Section A MCQs, 20 questions, 1 to 20. And of these 2 questions, you will have some assertion and reasoning. Assertion, reason type questions. You'll have 2, mostly the 19th and the 20th one, right? Then section B, 5 questions, 2 marks each. Section A, MCQs, 20 questions, 1 mark each, 20 marks. Section B, 5 questions, 2 marks each, 10 marks. Then this is short answer type questions. This also, so short answer type questions, 1, short answer type questions, 2. Meaning a little lengthier, no. 2 is slightly lengthier than 1. That's what is essay, short answer. 1, short answer 2. So here you have 6 questions, 3 marks each, 18 marks. So these 1 to 20, then 21 to 25. Section C is 26 to 31. Section D, long answer type questions. Long answer type questions, 5 marks, 4 questions, 5 marks each, 20. And finally, you have case-based questions, 3 questions, 4 marks each. So every case study, you'll have sub-questions. You'll mostly have 3 to 4 sub-questions. And then you'll have an internal choice also, mostly the last one. Internal choice. We don't have choice between, so in the entire paper, you don't have choice between 2 questions. Within a question, you have internal choice. Within a question. So you, in case study, suppose you have 4 questions, 1 to 3 is compulsory. 4th question, you'll have sub-question 4, this or this. That's internal choice. But between 2 questions, there is no choice. So that's the last section, section E, 3 questions, 4 marks each. 4 into 3, 12. So totally your paper will be for 80 marks, 48 questions in all. Now, at school, they are not always fair with the children. Okay, to be very honest. Sometimes MCQs are so lengthy that you cannot really finish the paper on time. So you should not take all the too seriously and judge yourself that, you're a mediocre student or, no, I have to still prepare. These days, teachers don't take a trial on the paper at all. Simply a question paper is set without, see, sometimes I do ask my children, even if the teacher has to work this paper, she cannot do it in 3 hours. Not possible. MCQ is so lengthy. Something like, 3-4 mark questions asked in MCQs. So, so when it's not practical, don't hurt yourself too much. Don't blame yourself too much. For somebody's mistake, you don't take the pain. Learn to, you should see, don't assure yourself for your mistake. So when when you discuss the question paper with your friends, when most of us say, yeah, it was lengthy, even I didn't finish. So right, the children who take a lot of efforts always, all of us are smart. The difference is why we have different, why we are not able to score as much as the others is because of the difference in the interest and effort we take. Because all of us are capable, all of us can do. So the difference is in the interest, not in our capability. The difference is capability is the same almost. The difference lies in the interest. The interest. So when I'm talking like this, some of us are 100% interested. There's some people say, well, all is not going to come for the exam. Why is she talking so much? So there's some absent-minded person in the class. So the same thing might extend when I'm teaching a chapter. When you find it boring, when for you it is boring, you're not listening carefully. But there's another child in the class who's focused. That is the difference. So when you don't focus, understanding is less. So when you go home and you want to practice that, you have not understood well. How can you practice? If I ask you to work out if I give you homework based on questions which you did not understand well here, how will you have the interest to work it? But if you've understood a session of mine very clearly, you're so happy that you understood it clearly, and I give you some 4 sums as homework, your interest will be like you want to go home and finish your dinner and finish the homework right away. Because you've understood. If you didn't understand, you wouldn't do that. You'll only find reasons to postpone the homework. You'll come to the class without doing the homework. So when you discuss the question paper with your friends, so there are some children in the class who always take efforts and who are always on the top because of their efforts. So when that child also says, or those children also tell you that, yeah, it was very lengthy, even I was not able to finish the paper. So you're able to understand. You get a survey, like, so from the discussion with your peers, you come to a conclusion, yes, then the paper was lengthy in terms of MCQs. Then don't harm yourself, just leave it. Don't really worry about the marks. Because somebody's mistake it is. The teacher shouldn't have set a paper. That does happen these days. Sometimes, as I told you, the teacher herself cannot do it in that 80-mark paper in 3 hours. Sometimes, now, see, it's never very easy. They don't make it. I don't know why they never make it like that. Somewhere they'll catch you. Either MCQs are difficult and lengthy, or some case studies they'll pull from somewhere. So we'll do our best. I'll try my best to cover most of everything in the class here. So you will believe that you're carrying home a lot of knowledge from the classroom. But sometimes, 1 or 2 questions may be beyond what we have prepared. Okay. So that you should just take it as a learn it after the exam, and then move on. So this is the schedule of the classes every Monday and Thursday from 6:45 to 9:15. All right. I don't have any classes before this. Till last year, I always had a class before this online session. So as to, mostly be like some 10 minutes late to the class because I had to wind up. So I had online classes before this, so I had to wind up that session and then come to the class. So there was a delay in starting the class and all that. This year, I'm not, I'm not planning to have any classes before this because so this is the first year I plan to complete the portions well in hand by July or max by mid-August. This is the first year because I've never tried to do that because it is like even I have to take a lot of effort for that. Students also have to take a lot of efforts, but all that will be worth like in the month of August, we'll be like so relieved. Oh my, I finished the portions in mathematics. Now it's just revision, revision, revision. So whatever test portions you get in school, you're happy. Oh, I know it. I have the book. I have everything in that. I'll just revise that and I'm like ready. So you'll be relieved in August. That sigh of relief you will definitely get in August. So for that, we really have to work hard. See, syllabus which stretches for 10 months, you have to finish it. We are starting early in February. and I have to finish it in 6 months. And at school, we mostly learn NCRT, right? Only from NCRT. Homework maybe is given from R.D. Sharma or some other reference book. Homework is given, but you're not made to, the teacher does not spend time in the class with questions from R.D. Sharma and other reference books, trying hard to explain and do all that in the class. I don't think any school here is doing that. So you're mostly with NCRT and a few questions away from NCRT as homework. And maybe the final answer is given in the class. I don't think, I have not heard from any student that a teacher spending so much of time in the classroom with extra questions, completing the NCRT, then doing extra questions. If it is so, I'll hear from you later. So it's not mostly like that. So at school, it's like they have to just complete the questions in NCRT. And NCRT, some schools they skip example. The example, it's there, no answer in the book. You learn it yourself. Exercise. And an exercise, one I'll do, one is homework. எல்லாத்துலயும் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ் வேண்டாம். அதான் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஆன்சர் புக்லயே இருக்கு. அப்புறம் எக்ஸசைஸ்லயும் some 2-3 sums, and then a few they do. So the intention of this program is not to bitch about the teachers. That's what is happening. I'm talking fact. My intention is not to say wrong about any teacher. They are also stressed to complete the portions. They are given a very irrational target to finish the portions in June. Now finish it in June. So she takes her own decisions, her own ways to finish the portions in June. So now here I cannot do that. Okay, so I have to when I complete a chapter, it has to be complete in every aspect. Meaning I have to make sure that there's nothing that can be asked beyond this. I have to ensure that. So the promise I give from my classroom is, I don't know if you can get full marks, but you get the question paper. When we go through the questions, there will be not a question that has not been done by me in the classroom here. No question in the paper will be a surprise for you. Which means I have, introduce all those questions to you in the classroom, explain. I've done that. So if you were not able to answer those questions which were taught in the classroom correctly in the exam, that cannot be the teacher's fault. So what is guaranteed is, if I finish a chapter here or when I finish the syllabus, it's done in detail and nothing can be asked beyond that. So your question paper, all the questions in your question paper would have been done, the type of question would have been handled in the classroom here. So it all lies with your practice. And I told you to excuse me. Sometimes they just pull questions from somewhere. Okay, sometimes may not be a part of the syllabus also, just to make it look difficult. So you have to excuse me in those cases. Those are rare cases. Okay, so this is how I plan to finish the portions. Monday, Thursday, 6:45 to 9:15 p.m. And duration is 150 lecture hours. So in 150 lecture hours, I should be, so I'll be talking, this is what I'll be doing in every other class. So you should learn to listen to lectures. It's not that I'm going to put up a bunch of questions on the board. Okay, come on, start working. And me doing something on my phone. No. Every other class, I'll have to, I'll be constantly sharing my knowledge. So there will be sessions where you just have to listen to me, and complete the notes at home. You have to agree, I cannot make you work everything here and still finish the portions with 2 classes in July. Now I can make more sessions, but it will be difficult for you to come. If I make 3 or 4 sessions a week, you have other subjects also to study, right? You have other subjects to study. So coming and going also takes time. Getting ready to the class, commuting, attending the class, going back. It does drain your energy because you're finishing school and coming here. So even if I make 1 extra session, it may be difficult for you, all of you to attend. So this is the minimum, number of classes I can give. So even I'm doing my best. How can I, tax the children less, but still give them more? So 2 classes, with 1 class a week, we cannot do anything. So 2 classes, 6:45 to 9:15. So that's 5 hours a week. And this entire syllabus will be completed in 150 lecture hours. And thereafter it will be, so totally you will have 250 hours. So 150 lectures for explaining the syllabus and 100 hours for revision. This is promised. We might have more than this, but not less than this. We might have more classes than this, but not less than this. So in rare cases, if I'm not able to make a class on Thursday, there's nothing like compensation class here because I'll make 250 hours of classes. I'll have the record. So I'll make 250 hours of classes. So it's not that, okay, she didn't take a class on Thursday. When is she compensating the class? No, because every day I have other classes. So there is no time for me to compensate. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. So 250 hours promised, minimum 250 hours. We may have more than this also. And portions also, we'll try our best to finish it by the end of July, may extend to the mid of August. So this, I was talking about the compensation classes. So there's nothing like compensation class. Rarely, if I miss a class, if I don't make a class, it's difficult for me to finish the portions of the. It will not be like that, but I'm just telling you. So there's nothing like a compensation class. It's just about the number of hours which I promised to do through your course. So we'll start off on 20th February and it'll extend to, it'll go on till the end of January 2026. So in the revision classes, we'll be solving question papers. We might, so that plan we'll do later. We'll work that plan. Like if we are going to do only question papers or they're going to do chapter wise, we'll decide that later. Chapter wise revision and then question papers that we'll see for all your schools. Yeah, I think that topic cannot be discussed now, so we'll see that later. Okay. Now, yeah, so to tell you all about myself. Okay, so you must be knowing my name for sure. So I am Kumuda. My maiden surname Ramu, Kumuda Ramu, and now I'm Kumuda Rengarajan. So born and brought up in Bangalore. Went to an ICC school. Finished my 10th standard under the ICC curriculum. I'm not a topper or something in the class, but I was somewhere like in a class of 40 students. I was somewhere like the one among the 8 students. So I was a consistent hard worker, and I had this passion for mathematics since my childhood. And mathematics was one subject which I always did better than the toppers in my class. So when it comes to math marks, they used to always check out with me like, oh, how much has she scored? So it was like that, and that's how I somehow I developed a passion for mathematics after completing my 10th with the ICC curriculum. So back then I don't know about the present ICC curriculum, but then we had lots. It was lots of knowledge, and that's what helped me develop this passion for mathematics. We've learned now when you compare this with that curriculum, this is about 30% of what is in the ICSE curriculum because we have 9th and 10th portions for the 10th exam. We have 9th and 10th mathematics for the 10th board exam. We have 9th and 10th science I don't know now, but so it's 9th and 10th social studies, science, and maths for the 10th boards. Teachers were, you know, just next to God. They were so good. And they were the ones who made the subject, made every other subject look easy. Though it was difficult, they made it easy, easy. I wasn't so good at social studies. Science, yes. Math was one of my favorite subjects. Then moving on after 10th standard, I did not, for some reason, take up science. So I chose commerce. So I completed my BCom uh, in the year 97. I graduated in the year 97. I have a BCom degree from Bangalore University. Post that, I did not want to study because I did not want to take up a job. For what reason, I don't know. I just wanted to, like if marriage was to happen, then marry and settle down to be a homemaker. I was not very passionate about working, like because what we see in Bangalore was like women step out at 8 in the morning, they come back at 8 o'clock. So that routine looked very difficult. So I thought, that's why I thought, okay, this sufficient degree is enough BCom. And then I wanted to continue teaching, which was my passion. And how I realized teaching is my passion is because I grew up in a joint family. I had my father's younger brothers and their children. We grew up together. So I used to tutor them, my aunt's daughter, my uncle's daughter, and my uncle's sons. So that way I realized that, this is interesting for me and I can do this always. Yeah, so like that, I realized, teaching gives me a lot of satisfaction. So I started taking tuitions there in Bangalore. I tutor children with all subjects till high school. And then after marriage here, it was difficult to continue teaching all subjects. So I thought, okay, let me settle down with mathematics. So having studied in the ICC curriculum, I can understand a lot of science till 8th standard. After that, I've forgotten actually. Maybe if I just go back to the books, read, I can get back. I'm not in touch. So I used to teach till 8th standard, all subjects till 8th standard. Then after, okay, so then here I came to Trichy in the year 2001. Then here in Trichy, back then we had the Anglo-Indian syllabus, matriculation syllabus, state pattern, ICC, CBSE. So I still about 2010, I was teaching students from all these curricula. I used to get mixed. I'm from this curriculum, that. So like that, I was doing till 29 or so, 2009, 2008, sometime like that. Then from there, I started I think 2009, I started giving classes only for high school. Mathematics only for high school, 8, 9, and 10 from 2009. But I think my teaching journey started in 97. And before that, when I was a student, I used to teach my cousins at home. So then like that in Trichy, so from 2009, I've been teaching only the CBSE syllabus for high schoolers. And yeah, so I derive a lot of satisfaction. So at the end of the, so this is like a medicine at the end of the day, you do so much of household chores, then you come and give a class and you go back home. It's like so rejuvenating. So that's how teaching and mathematics is to me. I'm a continuous learner. I never feel that, one knows everything. So I constantly update myself. I don't get too much time for that. But as far as the syllabus is concerned, yes, I keep an track about what's happening with, what's happening in the other question banks and anything new to be. I have my own material. I've created my own material like the other tuition centers have, but I don't publish it in the form of a book. So maybe in other centers, they give you a book, okay, as their material, study material. So I don't have a book. I have not published it though, but that's what I'll be using. Let me just show you the. Children who've been with me know it, but for the others, I just. So this is your 10th standard. So These are the presentations. So you can see these are different question banks, case study based questions. These are different books. So this is one book, exam idea. So I have material from that. NCRT exemplar, NCRT. So this is my material, NCRT. So all these, this is my, I told you this is my material, NCRT, this one. And NCRT, real numbers. So real numbers, I have so many files. So if you just by contraction. So you will, so this slide shows all the questions we'll be seeing in this presentation. And this is to save time. So I have spent all this time writing, making the presentations so that I can save your time in learning. If I were to write everything in the class and teach you, it's time consuming. So how do I, make sure that my children come learn more in less time? That's why I've prepared these presentations. So we have all the answers. So I'll be teaching using these presentations. So this is how it goes. So like I explain using this, I'll be annotating using this X pen. Okay, so sometimes you're made to write this in the class. There are times when I'll be sharing all this with you on WhatsApp and you'll have to complete all this at home. So this teaching period of 150 hours comes with 150 hours of my teaching, plus I don't know how many hours you have to take effort at home completing the notes. Okay, so we have to work together to finish the portions on time, right? So maybe when it comes to real numbers, this particular presentation, maybe I'll explain all this to you in the class. I'll not make you write because anyways, you're just going to blindly write. It's not numerical. It's more like theory. So you're just going to write it down almost blindly. You'll understand and almost write it blindly. So that you can at least do it at home. You can just go through once again and write it after understanding still better, right? So I'll not make you write all this in the class. I'll just teach the entire presentation, share all these images on WhatsApp, and you'll have to complete these notes. I'll give you a rational amount of time to do all that. So it's not school where you're punished, or I don't adopt to those, measures like no scolding, using inappropriate words. All that doesn't happen here. But yes, you will be, like informed that you have not completed and you shouldn't be repeating it. Your notes will be checked and you should complete. See, the best thing is to, I'll discuss with you as to the due date to complete the notes. So we'll decide on the due date and we'll complete it by the due date. That's always easy. That works easily than not finishing it and then, being pointed out in the class, feeling bad. Why all that? Why put yourself in that position? We'll decide a comfortable due date. We'll see that we complete it. So we move on with the class, with all the others in the class. So most of it can be like this also. Teaching in the class, sharing the notes, you have to complete the notes at home. So that's how we can save time and, finish the portions early. You agree with me or you disagree? Or you feel, no, when you teach something, I want to write it down immediately. If I have to go home and complete this, like at a later date, it may be difficult for me to recall. That may be true, but do you think that's really going to be difficult for you to complete the notes at home? Tell me now. If we have to finish the syllabus early, this is what we can do. This is what I have to do. You have to do that homework of completing the notes. The kind of you're forced to agree. No, I've researched a lot. So I'm not doing what I feel. I've tried everything. I've tried teaching throughout the year. But then what happens? Schools finish the portions in July. They start giving test, exam, mock exam, different names, portions. Then children are like, my tuition teacher is still completing the portions. So you're like, I'm going to my class. I attend tuition classes, still that's not helping me. So I realized that I have to finish somehow. We have to finish the portions, meaning in detail, but on time. That is only solution for the trend now. Earlier, schools used to finish the portions only by December, like before COVID. There was no hurry like this. They used to finish the portions in December for 10th standard, finish in December. 1, 2, or max 3 revision exams. That's all. Then when school did 3 revision exams, another school, I'll do 4 next year. Then the next school, I'll do 5. Then next school was like, I'll start slip test. You're doing 5 exams. No, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish 2 chapters every month and give slip test for my students. So now it's like, it's good in one way, but again, you learn different chapters in school. I'm doing something else. You're not able to do the slip test well because I've not completed those portions here. So it becomes demotivating sometimes for students. If it was like this, just think of this scenario where all the schools finish the portions in December. Even we finish in December. And they do the revision, or say we finish in October. And then they do the revision exams in January and February. We are all sailing together. It's comfortable. And then you also reap the benefit of attending my classes because, okay, she's done so much. Now I just have to revise and, face my exams. That was the scenario earlier. It was very easy before COVID. It was all happening in the right tune. Now you don't know. Now you don't know what your school will do. Only when you attend school, you know if your teacher is finishing the portions in June or in March. Now, when did your school reopen, Rohit? Sit down, don't get up. Sit down. Jan, date? Date, don't remember. Huh? After Pongal, before Pongal? Before Pongal. You had vacations for Pongal? Okay, now how many chapters has your teacher completed? Name the chapters. Then the ongoing chapter? Arithmetic progressions. Not bad. Your school just started today, right? Month, you have not finished your exams. Russell?
I'll start from
February 3rd. And what's the ongoing chapter?
First chapter has been completed year numbers, and second chapter has been completed to NCRT, and extra some have been done.
NCRT, meaning second chapter is polynomials. Okay. Bayamurthanan middle of your school hasn't reopened. Okay. Okay. Now it's like this. Next month, you see, 6 chapters will be over. So it's like that. So that's what it is. So earlier we were all doing things similar, like we school finishes portions, we finish portions. It was the tuitions were helpful for the children. Now, if I finish the portions late, but the school finishes early, and you have to face full syllabus exams before I complete the portions here. Before I complete the portions here, your school finishes the portions, and you have to face revision exams before the syllabus is completed here. You feel I'm going to tuition, but it's not helpful. So now even I have to, do similar to what your school is doing. Finish the portions with them. But I cannot rush. This is not school to just do one sum, then rest for homework. No, I cannot do that. I have to work each and every sum here in the class. Then the only alternative is some presentations, teach, make children work here. Other presentations, teach, share the images on WhatsApp, and ask the children to complete it home. Only if I adopt this strategy can we finish the portions as I have decided in July. If you want to write everything here, then it's not possible to complete the portions. Because I do so, I cover it because I don't do only NCRT. As I told you, I have my own material, which includes NCRT, R.D. Sharma, Agarwal, question banks, exemplar. So when I complete a chapter, it's like completed in every aspect. There's nothing that can be asked beyond that in your exam. So if I have to do this range, then I need time. But finish the portions early. So you have to help me by completing notes at home. So some derivations and all that, I'll do it in the class, but you have to finish it at home. Some children, what they do, all the material I send, they take a Xerox and they keep it like, so that, no, but Xerox not no. But they just file up like every chapter wise, they make a file and they just keep the record, meaning keep the Xerox of the material I share on WhatsApp. You can do that, but please complete the notes also. Every class, there will be a test like, so you'll have to come prepared for every session here. Whatever has been taught in the earlier sessions, you must revise before you come to the next class here. So every class there'll be a test last 5 minutes or the first, not mostly the first 5 minutes because that will be a lot of chaos. So mostly the last 5 minutes, last 5 to 10 minutes, you'll have a test. If not in every other class, because sometimes, we're so much into learning something that there's no time for that 5 minutes also. So at least alternate classes. You'll take a test on one sum, one question. But to answer that one question, you should have practiced everything, no? You don't know which one question I'm going to ask you. So you should have revised all that I've taught you in the earlier sessions. So this is for a particular chapter, I'm telling you. Not that if I've covered some 4 chapters, every other class, you have to go through all the 4 chapters. No, 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 no. The ongoing chapter I'm saying. So if I'm now doing AP, so every other class you come, you should have gone through the portions of AP in the earlier classes. Not the other chapters which I've completed earlier. That's practically not possible. Ongoing chapter, whatever is taught in the earlier classes. So if suppose AP, we are doing the 5th session. 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions, whatever is taught, you should come prepared for the 5th session. 8th session of AP, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 session. Whatever is taught in all the 7 sessions, you should come prepared. Because I can ask the question from the 1st session or 3rd session or the 7th session, I don't know. So that is the check. That's how I see to that you are on your toes. You're never walking with your feet flat on the floor. You're always on your toes. Many running errands have to learn that, have to learn this. You keep yourself busy like that till July, This is like so easy. You can sit back, relax. I'm just thanking myself for not touching this cable. Yeah, so it is going to be a marathon till July. It is going to be a marathon. Okay, when I can run the marathon, you definitely can. When a 50 can run a marathon, 15 definitely can, right? Yeah, so you can, you have more energy, you can do it. So like my son sometimes says, we have other subjects also. So even I have my household work to do, no? Even I'm not free during the day. Even like you have different subjects, I have different household chores to finish before I come to the classroom. So we are almost on the same boat. I finish all my chores, so much of things to do at home, and then come to my classroom. Like you have to attend school and do all that stuff related to school and come to the classroom. So we are almost on the same boat. It's not that I'm on the beautiful side and you're on the difficult side. No, no, no. Both of us are on the same side. You have subjects, I have household chores. That's the difference. So I enjoy whatever I do. You also should learn to enjoy whatever you do. And that's how you can make life beautiful. Okay. So you have to maintain 14 books for 14 different chapters. Get ruled, long, ruled book with or without margin. Without margin, good. But if it's with margin, okay. Because you can also make use of the space in the margin, There are books without margins. Then you get a broader space in that page to work. Unruled book, please don't get. No unruled book. Or only ruled. Ruled book, long notebook. Okay, both sides ruled, long, without margin preferred. So like this, we'll maintain. So for some chapters, you may have need 2 books also. For some chapters, you may need 2 books also. You can't say, depends on the, like volume. Some chapters, a book may not be used completely. You will have some pages remaining. So don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about that. You can use it as a rough notebook next year. So, pages, can I start polynomials in then I'll be forced to say seri down class. Okay, seri. Because you are insisting, no, but you want to continue from there, then how can I say, no, 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 put that book, take a new book? No. If you ask me that question, you're expecting that answer from me. Because now I've instructed you have to use a new book for every chapter. And if you ask me, real numbers, 4 page தான் இருக்கு. 4 page இருக்கா, 40 page தான் இருக்கு, இன்னும் 40 page இருக்கு. Shall I do polynomials இதுலனா? It's left to you. But அந்த நீங்க அடுத்த வருஷம் அந்த எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பேஜஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்து நீங்க if you give it to this printers, they'll make one book for you and you can use that as a book. Correct. You can pull out all the pages you have not used. Make all that into one rough notebook. You just give it to the printers. He'll spiral bind it and give it to you as one book, and you can use it as a rough book for the next year. So don't worry about the pages which are not used. So please use one book for every chapter. Some chapters may need 2 books also. Long rule book without margin preferred. So you always carry one new, like you have 2 books. You're using one book. You're using one book for a chapter, but keep another new book in spare, because suddenly I finish a chapter and you're not informed that I'm starting a new chapter today. Mostly I see that I inform, but in cases where I don't inform you, you're like, no, I didn't get the new book to do. I don't have a new book. I don't want that to happen. So in the tuition bag, so what should you carry in your tuition bag? The current tuition notebook, which you're using, which you're writing, and one additional new book, stationery. That's all. No school textbook, no classwork, school homework book, reference books, carrying R.D. Sharma. Don't get anything here to the classroom. Your current tuition notebook in which you're writing, that additional new book, stationery, and water bottle. Water bottle compulsory. Carry your own water. Okay, this is what your bag should be, as light as, complete, as light as a feather. It should be as light as feather. Okay, yeah. If you think in the 6:45 to 9:15 you need to refresh, you can carry a bottle of juice or something, you can drink. எனக்கு தெரியாது நீங்க ஜூஸ் குடிக்கிறீங்கன்னா நீங்க குடிப்பீங்க, நீங்க ஜூஸ் தான் குடிச்சிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. That you can do. You cannot snack during the class, but you can definitely carry your water bottle plus whatever, like you want to drink something, you can carry your drink along with you. You don't have to take permission to drink water, or permission. You don't have to take can I drink my water? Can I? Don't get up to answer questions. Just sit comfortably. You can we can communicate. I'll sit. You also sit. We'll talk like this itself. And yeah, that's about it. That's what you have to carry. No textbooks, not required. Yeah, always carry long. Should I should have made a presentation of this? No, right? You can remember. Carry long rule sheets. Always carry long rule sheets to the class. So that's for the test. That's for the test. Harsha, you're there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Carry long rule sheets to the class. So that test which I was talking about, which may happen in the last 5 minutes, so that can be any question from the ongoing chapter. So the question will be on the board. You just have to work the answer, write the question and work the answer, and submit the paper, which will be corrected and given to you in the next class or maybe the class after that. Okay, so so throughout this duration of completing your syllabus, this is how I'll keep a check that you're studying regularly. Because if I'm conducting tests and exams in the middle, all that takes time. Then there will be a delay in completing the portions. So whatever I'm doing, see, all this is planned with, after having gone through a lot. I'm not doing this because this is comfortable for me. No, I've tried everything. Stretching the syllabus for the whole year. I've done everything. And all that doesn't work with the scenario in the schools now. So this is what I have to do. So இப்போ இந்த வருஷம் போனாதான் தெரியும் மே மாசம் நம்ம எவ்வளவு எஃபர்ட் எடுக்கணும்ன்றது ஆரம்பிச்சாதான் தெரியும். This is the first year I'm trying to do this. So maybe like if I feel no, my target cannot be achieved, July-kulla முடிக்க முடியாதுன்னா maybe I'll take a lot of your time in 150 hours of teaching may become 200 hours of teaching. That's why I told you 250 is minimum. We might need more than that. So this year when I work it out, then I can make it. Okay, for my syllabus, I need, for whatever I have to complete, so I need so many hours. That's why I said 250 hours promised. 150 teaching hours, maybe 200 also. So that time, where will you get that time? From your May vacation. Okay, so your May vacation is also my May vacations. So carry long rule sheets regularly to the classroom. I'm not going to provide papers because I'm not time ago. I'm not stingy. 50 பேப்பர் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு எங்களை கொண்டு வர சொல்றாங்க. நோ நான் பேப்பர் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ண ஒருத்தருக்கும் பேப்பர் கொடுக்கணும். then you will ask for additional sheet, அது கொடுக்கணும். இதெல்லாம் again disturbing you, right? கிளாஸ் டிஸ்டர்ப் ஆகும். அதனால நீங்களே கொண்டு வந்துட்டா டெஸ்ட் கொஸ்டின் நான் போர்டில் போட்டிருப்பேன். நீங்க யூ டேக் அவுட் த பேப்பர் ஃப்ரம் யுவர் பேக், ஸ்டார்ட் ரைட்டிங். அடிஷனல் பேப்பர்னா நீங்களே எடுத்துப்பீங்க. யூர் செல்ஃப் சஃபிஷியன்ட். நான் பாட்டுக்கு உட்காந்துக்கலாம், முடிச்சுட்டு பேப்பர் வச்சுட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்கலாம். நீங்க இல்லை நான் பேப்பர் கொடுக்கணும், எனக்கு வரல, எனக்கு அடிஷனல் ஷீட்டு. ஸோ அதெல்லாம் டு அவாய்ட் ஆல் தட் யூ கேரி லாங் ரூல் ஷீட்ஸ். அகைன் ரூல் ஷீட்ஸ் தான், லாங் ரூல் ஷீட்ஸ். சும்மா ஒரு சைட் ஒரு ஷீட் இஸ் என்ன, அவ்வளோதான். அதுக்கு மேலே ஒர்க் பண்ண போகிறது. பட் ஆல்வேஸ் ஹேவ் தட் book, that your water and juice. Yeah. நீங்கெல்லாம் வந்து you have enrolled for physical classes. So there is Harsha online. She is enrolled for online classes. நீங்களாம் physical classes தான் enroll பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. You should always attend physical classes. Online link உங்களுக்கு வராது. Will be sent only for Harsha and other students who you know like enroll for online classes. நான் லாஸ்ட் இயர் எல்லாருக்கும் அந்த லிங்க் ஷேர் பண்ணுவேன். ஸோ சாய் ஸ்மிருதி வந்து பாதி நாளும் ஆன்லைன்ல தான் இருப்பா, சொல்ல மாட்டா. ஆனா பாதி நாளும் ஆன்லைன். அவன் ஆன்லைன்ல இருக்காளான்னு தெரியாது. வீட்டுல ஜாயின் பண்ணி சாய் ஸ்மிருதி எஸ்எஸ்ன்னு இருக்கும். எஸ்ஸான்னு தெரியாது சாய் ஸ்மிருதி. அதுல நோ கூட இருக்கலாம். ஸோ link will be shared only with students who enroll for online classes. If on a particular day you have a reason to take up an online class, you must let me know well in hand. நான் 6:45 கிளாஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கிறச்சு எனக்கு லிங்க் அனுப்புங்க, நான் வந்து ஆன்லைன்ல அட்டென்ட் பண்றேன்னா நான் அந்த மெசேஜ் பார்த்தாலும் நான் அனுப்ப மாட்டேன். ஐ எம் நாட் ட்ரைங் டு பி பேட், பட் தட் அது எனக்கு ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு டூ எனிதிங். ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு ரன் எரண்ட்ஸ் இன் லாஸ்ட் மினிட். ஸோ நீங்க எனக்கு முன்னாடியே சொல்லிடணும். அட்லீஸ்ட் பை 5:30, மார்க்ஸ் பை 6 லெட் மீ நோ. 6:45 கிளாஸ் ஆரம்பிக்குதுன்னா, ஏன்னா நான் மொபைல் எப்பவுமே பார்த்துட்டு இருக்க மாட்டேன். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் பிக் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கால்ஸ். மோஸ்ட்லி when I get from my family members, I pick the call. Other calls I don't even pick. Even if it's student, இப்போ நான் கிளாஸ் ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டேன், மணி 7, ஒரு கிளாஸ் ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டேன், ஸ்டூடெண்ட் கால் பண்ண நான் எடுக்க மாட்டேன். நான் எனக்கு கிளாஸ் டிஸ்டர்ப் ஆகல, அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்களோ தெரியல. ஸோ you can reach out to me anytime before the class. Before 6, before 5:30 is good, because after 6 even I can start getting ready to the class. So 5:30க்கு முன்னாடி நீங்க எனக்கு இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணனா கால் பண்ணா பரவாயில்ல. பட் காலோட எனக்கு நீங்க வாய்ஸ் நோட் போட்டீங்கன்னா you'll really be doing a favor. Share anything with me. You can communicate regularly every day. But please make it with voice note on WhatsApp. That'll be very comfortable, and I'm mostly prompt in answering to your messages. எதை நான் பார்க்க மாட்டேன்னா, கிளாஸ் அப்போ போடுறது, கிளாஸ் அப்போ கால் பண்றது, லாஸ்ட் மினிட்ல எனக்கு லிங்க் அனுப்புங்க, நான் கிளாஸ் வர முடியல, ஆன்லைன் நான் பார்க்க மாட்டேன். சம்டைம்ஸ் கவனிக்க மாட்டேன். சம்டைம்ஸ் கவனிச்சாலும் I'll be so much engrossed teaching that I'll just not like almost forget to send the link. So I can have 1,000 reasons for not being able to send the link. So don't do that. நீங்க எல்லாம் பிசிக்கல் கிளாஸ் என்ரோல் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, எல்லாம் நேர்ல தான் வரணும். ஆன்லைன் அட்டென்ட் பண்றாங்க ரேர்லி. 9.9 out of 10 physical, 0.1 on 10 online. Okay. So other you should inform me well in hand, only then I'll share the link with you. Quality is going to be the same. Online, offline quality is going to be the same. My quality is going to be the same. Your quality will be 100% here, but what quality will be online, I don't know, because நீங்க எவ்வளவு தூரம் கவனிக்கிறீங்கன்றது ஆன்லைன்ல எனக்கு தெரியாது. அது I give that responsibility to you. டவுட்ஸ் எதுவும் இருந்தா அந்தந்த கிளாஸ்லயே கேட்டுருணும், இல்ல நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல கேட்கணும். I can assure you, this is what I can tell you. I'll always be good with the children. You can ask me if you don't understand, ask me to repeat, I'll explain. உங்களுக்கு ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஆகிற வரைக்கும் நான் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண முடியாது. புரிஞ்சுட்டு என்ன விட்டுருணும், நீங்க புரிஞ்சதையே நீங்க ரிப்பீட் நோ, எனக்கு ரீட்டைன் ஆகிற வரைக்கும் நீங்க ரிப்பீட் பண்ணா தட்ஸ் நாட் பாசிபிள். புரிஞ்சுட்டுனா லீவ் மீ, தென் யூ ஹேவ் டு டேக் அப் the responsibility of practicing and remembering. So doubts எல்லாம் அந்த கிளாஸ்ல கேட்டுருங்க. அப்படின்னா நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல கேட்கலாம், தப்பு இல்லை. But don't hesitate. What comes to your mind, let it immediately come out of your mouth. Don't process that. Should I ask? Should I not ask? Will they laugh? Will she laugh? Will he laugh? அதெல்லாம் நீங்க பாதரே பண்ணக்கூடாது. நீங்க பாட்டுல you will get used to that. Eventually you will get used to that. இனிஷியலா தயக்கமா இருக்கிறது, just break that and come out of it. When something comes to your head, just ask. You should get your doubts clarified. You should not go home with doubts. ஒரு கிளாஸும் நல்லா புரிஞ்சாதான் நீங்க வீட்டுக்கு போய் பிராக்டிஸ் பண்றது உங்களுக்கு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கும். And anything that you have to suggest, or you have any issues in the class, you should let me know in the next class. Very old issues I will not handle at all. நீங்க அந்த கிளாஸ் நீங்க நடத்துனது புரியலன்னா அது ரொம்ப பழசாயிடுச்சு, நான் இப்ப அதெல்லாம் கேட்கவே மாட்டேன். போன கிளாஸ் எதுவும் புரியலன்னா இந்த கிளாஸ் கேளுங்க, அடுத்த கிளாஸ் கேட்டுருங்க. 1 month கழிச்சு கெட்டிங் யுவர் பேரண்ட்ஸ் இல்ல நடத்துறதே புரியலன்றாங்க, அதெல்லாம் நான் ஹேண்டிலே பண்ண மாட்டேன். தட்ஸ் டூ ஓல்ட். You have some issue, you should sort it out right away. What's the point attending 2 months of classes, then waiting for your test marks and then coming and telling me that in spite of attending your classes, I've got only this now? I'm not responsible for that. நான் question paper வாங்கி பார்ப்பேன். question paperல இருக்க questions எல்லாம் வந்து நான் இங்க நடத்திருக்கேன்னா I am done. நான் இந்த questions நான் நடத்திருக்கேன்னா நீங்க ஏன் பண்ணல, நான் உங்களை தான் திருப்பி கேட்பேன். Correct, no? So don't carry, if you want to share something with me, you can do that right after the class or maybe next class. Don't carry things, have it in your mind for a month, 2 months, and then come and complaining and, like suggesting something which I cannot help after 2 months is waste. So let's make the best use of our time. Don't carry your doubts home. Feel free to ask me in the classroom. So test is only check, is only way I make sure that you're practicing regularly. Another 5 minutes I'll need. So that's how I make sure that you're practicing regularly. And coming to how to practice, like how do I do math? Should I do half an hour every day? Okay, should I do half an hour every day or should I do 1 hour every day? No. What I suggest and what will really work for you is spending 5 to 6 hours at a stretch with mathematics during the weekends. Working 1 hour today. See, if you in 1 hour, maybe from trigonometry, some 3 questions you can solve. You are supposed to solve some 30-40 questions at a stretch. Only then you will know the difference between, like when you work 30 questions at a stretch, you will know the difference between the 25th question and the 5th question. You will know the difference. You will understand, okay, if it's asked like this, I'm supposed to answer this way. So if it's put like the question is put in that way, that's the answer, that's supposed to be the answer. So you get the difference. You get the difference between the questions only when you work many questions at a stretch. When you work 2 questions every day, you're constantly working. You're working maths regularly. 2 questions every day. 2 questions, they're easy. Yeah, easy. Every day easy. Every day easy. Now work all the 30 questions in 1 day. You'll scratch your head definitely. You'll scratch your head. Don't do that. Work maths at a stretch. Or if you want to work on a weekday also, you work during a weekday. I'm not saying you should work only on Saturday and Sunday, but if you want to work it on a Thursday or a Friday when you don't have class here, make sure that you work at least for 3 hours. At least 3 hours. Do lots. Only then you can compare, get all that thing. See, all that which you will get confused during the exam, all that should happen when you're preparing at home. When you practice at home, all that confusion, in the sum vanda eppadi pannom, adu vanda eppadi pannom, all those things should happen when you're practicing at home. Examination la ellame clear ah irukum. That's how I have always attempted exams. Examination la either I have not touched the topic, so I don't know the answer to that question. If I've practiced, there was not a day like I've forgotten or like whatever reasons. It's never been like that. Because I made sure I practice so that I don't forget. So I see the question in the exam, I just look, see it work. So I've mostly finished the exams on time. If I didn't go well prepared with a particular topic, maybe I had trouble there. So it was always like that. So practice is the key to everything. எல்லாமே நீங்க வீட்ல பண்ணிடணும். Then study as if the exam is tomorrow. Exam முன்னாடி படிக்காதீங்க. Exam முன்னாடி படிக்க முடியாது. எவ்வளவு எதை படிக்கணும்? Exam முன்னாடி படிக்காதீங்க. தினம் படிக்கணும். Like தினம்னா இப்பதான் நீங்க வந்து 3 hours continuous படிக்கணும். தினம் not literally every day. Take work regularly. Spend minimum 3 hours with mathematics. If you're studying mathematics, do at least 3 hours at a stretch and do it consistently as if you have an exam next day. Studying before the exam, it's not 9th standard. There's lots. There's really lots. It's not 9th standard. You cannot do it like, no magic can be done. Tomorrow exam, today 3 chapters, you cannot practice. And no coming to me saying that, ma'am, can you just teach me again? Nothing can be repeated. In the class, நடத்திட்டேன் புரியுது. அடுத்த class போயிட்டோம்னா அவ்வளவுதான். இந்த class நீங்க தான் பாத்துக்கணும். Coming back saying that I've forgotten, can you help me recall? I'll share the recordings. Nothing can be repeated because everything is voluminous. If I do it for one child, I should do for the others also, right? If I do for you, you'll ask, everybody will ask. Where's the time for me? How can I do that? So I've told you about the notebooks you have to carry to the class, stationery, water bottle, juice bottle, your long rule sheets for the test, and how to practice mathematics. It should always be minimum of 3 hours at a stretch, no break, half an hour, then relaxing, then coming back. Not like that. It should be 3 hours at least in one go. Finish all rest room meeting, everything. Breakfast finish, till lunch you sit. Like that. And really work hard. And most importantly, your boundary. Believe only the tuition notebook. Learn only from the tuition classwork notebook. You don't need any material beyond this. I think this is the most important thing. Good, I just realized I had to say this. Do not tax yourself, stress yourself with other material, referring R.T. Sharma, referring this book, that book. My friend gave this model question paper. Please don't do that. Don't get confused at all. Believe me. Maintain your tuition classwork notebook neatly. Trust that. Practice that alone. Practice that itself many times. You will do well. Don't work anything beyond the tuition classwork notebook. Everything is in that. And of course, whatever I share on WhatsApp, whatever you get from the tuition here, that's more than enough. Don't refer any material. Keep everything aside. See, now when you will have to use it, no, till before I finish the portions. So like I'm doing a chapter, but you have a different chapter for the test at school. Then yes, you have to help yourself. In that case, you have to use some reference book to help yourself. Otherwise, if it is a chapter which I have covered here, then don't use any reference book. Just stick to my notes. That's more than sufficient. You should do this. You should practice whatever is taught here many times. That is very important. It's about working 50 sums 5 times. Well, 50 sums I've done here, no, in one chapter. Work those 50 sums 5 times. So 50 into 5 is 250. This is one situation where you have learned 50 sums from one chapter and you've worked it 5 times. So equal to 250, 50 into 5. But another situation where you have 250 questions from the same chapter and you work all the 250 questions once. You will not remember anything because you worked it only once. To register, to retain once is not enough. To register what you have understood, working once is not enough. You need to work it repeatedly. 2-3 times you'll have to work out the same thing to register. Retention is different from understanding. Understanding is like I talk like this, you understand. Now come on, tell me what. Now in the same order, talk whatever I told you from 6:45. Before you say you yourself cannot do that, I'll only tell you. Okay. So, like you listen to a news channel, you know, the headlines, 10 headlines. You're very fond of, politics and you like watch and all the 10 headlines, you're happy about some, you feel bad for the other news and yeah. Now news done. Now you try to recall all the 10 in the same order. You can, but I don't think in the same order may always be easy. It's like that. But if you go through that again, go through that again, yeah, then you can do it. It's like that. When you listen to something, you understand. But just because you've understood it doesn't mean that you can always remember it. I'll teach you the recipe to make pav bhaji or say paneer butter masala. I'll teach you the recipe. I'll say roast all these spices, grind all this, marinate the paneer. I'll tell you everything. Understood. Oh, okay. Now after 2 days, I'll ask you, repeat. Recipe to make paneer butter masala. Yeah, you need paneer. I know. You need tomatoes. Yeah, I know you need onions, garlic, but something you said you should sort. What? Not dazzling. It's like that only. Now you're not used to cooking, right? So for you now, when I tell you the recipe to make paneer butter masala, you will understand. Now when I tell you in the class, you will understand. Now you don't revise that recipe. You come after a week. I ask you now tell me because that's new to you, right? Definitely I'm sure nobody's a good cook here. I think I can assume that. So no, you are. Okay. Okay. Not offense, no offense. Okay, fine. We did assume that Amish also does not know. Okay, so it's like the mathematics is like that, right? So whatever you want to learn now, it's like a new recipe for you. Like you don't know. You don't know. So I introduce hundreds of recipes to you. Everything I tell you, you'll understand. Okay, oh, it's so flavorful. It's like taste. When I tell you the recipes, you can feel the flavor in your mouth. So that to that extent, will make it easy to understand. But now I ask you after a few classes, I ask you to tell me one recipe of those 100 recipes. You will not be able to say. It's not. But if you practice, if you go through the recipes, when it comes to recipes, you'll have to actually cook and you'll have to try it out to remember. So that effort on your end is required to remember the recipe. So it's like that. So understanding is just a small part of retention. Understanding, I'll make you understand. But to retain whatever you understood, you have to practice it. That responsibility you cannot transfer to anybody. I cannot take over that responsibility. Nor can anybody in your family help you. That only you have to do. All right. So get ready to work hard, and together we can make this journey very fascinating, very interesting. I do my work, you do your work. Regularly, we are working. You'll really get the joy of. You will really understand You'll really get the joy of learning mathematics because the subject is not difficult. We make it difficult by not practicing on time. It's really easy. I think I have covered most of it. Do you have any questions? Any doubts? Like, will you do that? Will you do this? Nothing for now, right? Okay. So I don't have any order in which I complete the syllabus. So it depends, it depends on how it all goes. So suddenly in March, I feel, okay, let me finish this because it's getting late. So then I'll do that. So I don't have any order. I'm not, I'll not be going with any school's order. Okay, so even if you suggest that if all the schools are doing the same chapter, maybe I'll do that. But again, if that's never going to happen. There'll not be a time when all the schools will be doing the same chapter. If that's the case, I will, very happily do that same chapter for all of you. Why should I do a different chapter when all the schools are doing the same chapter? But that's never going to be the scenario. So I cannot ask you, okay, Neha, which chapter is happening in your school? Okay, come on, let me do that. No, I'll not do that. I'll have my own order. So when I start a new chapter, you'll be like, oh, I hope she starts a chapter which is happening in my school. But maybe that chapter is happening in her school. So it's not that I asked Samiksha. I asked Samiksha, which chapter medical school now. Why should I do? Why should I do a favor to one of you when all of you are my students? That's not going to benefit me at all in any way. So I'll not do that. Maybe I'll ask you, Rohit, என்ன சாப்டர் நடக்குதுன்னு. அதுக்கு ரோஹித் சொல்லிட்டா நான் நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் அது பண்ண போறது இல்லை. நான் ஒரு ஆர்டர் வச்சு எனக்கே ஆர்டர் தெரியாது இப்போ. நானே ஆரம்பிச்சப்புறம் தான் எப்படி போடுதுன்னு பார்த்து ஓகே நவ் ஐ திங்க் இட்ஸ் பெட்டர் ஐ டூ திஸ் சாப்டர் அப்படின்னு நானே ஒன்று பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு நானே மாத்துவேன் அதை. எனக்கே தெரியாது எந்த ஆர்டர்ல பண்ண போறேன்னு. தேர்ஸ்டே என்ன சாப்டர் பண்ண போறேன்றது நான் தேர்ஸ்டே தான் நான் டிசைடட் பண்ணுவேன். ஸோ டோன்ட் மீ. Okay. Fine, children. It was mostly a monologue. Couldn't make this an interactive session because I had to share about my classroom. But I think the learning process, we should make it interactive. It will not be like that noisy, too many questions in this class because I mostly explain line by line, everything is explained. So it's not going to be like you have so many questions to ask and all that. You have to stay focused. And if you have a question, you can ask me. There can be a class where I teach and you don't have doubts at all. There can be classes like that. So that doesn't mean that yaar mein doubt hai keklanu. That means you have understood whatever I have delivered. Because I'll be doing it line by line. I make sure that, children have very few to no doubts. I explain in a way so that children have very few to no doubts. So that way the class is quiet. All of us are learning. Okay. All right, Harsha and children here. So that was it for the orientation program. I just called you all to share all this with you. So I wanted to get started with the portions from the first class on Thursday, the coming Thursday. So I thought I'll just make the session well in hand. I've also planned to meet your parents. I'll just update regarding this classroom is small. I was earlier in a different place, which is I think about 4 times bigger than this. So then I would have called the parents and the students at the same time. But owing to the size of the classroom, I did not invite the parents for this session. I plan to meet them sometime after we do some 20, 30 hours of classes here. I plan to meet them so that they can also, I can hear from them as to how they feel about the classes. All right. All right. Great talking. Thank you, Harsha. That's it for today's session. Good night. You may leave the call. Thank you, children. I've taken 20 minutes of your time extra. Sorry and thank you. Good night. Thank you.